My name is Blessed Suga, and thanks for joining us here on The Pulse. The NDC's James Jachikwesin says he will, in the next 72 hours, embark on an aggressive campaign geared at winning the Tuesday's by-election. He announced this move after the High Court granted his request to exempt him from hearing his court proceedings on Friday. The court will on that day decide whether or not his trial should be put on hold to allow him campaign for the upcoming polls. This was after hours of heated legal argument involving his lawyers and Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dami. And this is Director of Legal Affairs, Abraham Amaliba, is satisfied with the decision coming through from the court. But first off, I want us to listen to Abraham Amaliba, and we'll get the latest for you in court.
The 23rd, which means that tomorrow we are not coming to court, but on the 23rd, the court, in its own wisdom, dispense of his presence in court, which means that effectively, he is supposed to come after the elections. And so clearly, we want to be thankful to the court, the judge, and to say that we are most grateful for the ruling given to us today, because we have achieved what we wanted to achieve.
In terms of the legal arguments today, a chunk of them centered around the conduct of the Attorney General. It appears it's an issue of serious concern to your side, and Mr. Chikata made that point strongly.
Yes, so you notice that Mr. Chikata's supplementary affidavit was supposed to give to the court a plethora of conduct that the Attorney General has displayed, which conduct does not sit well with our legal profession. And you notice that he quoted the Legal Profession Act, which does not allow for comments such as what the Attorney General engaged in. And so the Attorney General's conduct was an issue before the court. And I'm happy the senior, Charles Chikata, took him to the cleaners, and you all saw it.
Is that the end of it for you, or you intend to take some steps with regards to the concerns?
And senior has indicated that his main concern is to bring the conduct of the Attorney General before the court. We don't intend to take any further action. But if this becomes too much, I think we will advise ourselves.
I mean, because we don't have the chance to interact with Mr. Kwesin himself, I guess this simply means that he's getting back to the campaign grounds to continue with his work.
This evening, he's going back. The people of Assin North should prepare to receive him. They are going. There's going to be a big welcome from the hands of the government that is persecuting him. So his entry into Assin North this night will be a big welcome to him.
And we're keeping our eyes on the Assin North constituency just to get the latest for you on your election headquarters. But a good time now to speak to legal affairs correspondent Joseph Akablay, who's joining us now after a very heated court session. Blay, we understand that the conduct of the AG came up strongly once again. Just run us through the highlights of this legal argument and what exactly the NDC Council is seeking to put across to the court.
I mean, it's centered around some comments that the AG had made. It was actually in an interview that he had with me many months back. It was after the Supreme Court had delivered a decision on the Kwesin matter, and he had made a point that Mr. Kwesin will suffer the same fate as Adamu Sakande. So we did that story, was published on myjoyonline.com. Mr. Chikata reproduced that story and attached them to his exhibits in court to make a case that he believes that those comments means that the AG is effectively prejudicing the court against James Jachikwesin, in the sense that it is making it very difficult for Mr. Kwesin to have a fair trial. It says, as far as they are concerned, the Constitution guarantees the innocence of an accused person until the person is proven to be guilty. And so they believe that that particular point that was being made was not the right one to be made by the Attorney General. So they brought that to the attention of the court. The AG strongly objected to it and took the view that those documents that have been brought to the court should not be admitted entirely. He described them as being totally irrelevant. He said they were being advanced for absurd reasons, and that as far as he was concerned, those comments that he made were in a civil trial. And the reference in those publications, nowhere in the story on myjoyonline.com does it make the point that it amounted to a criminal case. He was purely commenting on a civil matter. And so those are not matters that he believes has any influence on a criminal trial that is taking place currently. And
I
so
see.
he took the view that the court should not admit those particular things. But the court disagreed and admitted them into evidence, saying that it reserves the right to admit such matters if it considers it to be relevant. And as far as the claim has been made that he's making comments which amounts to a prejudice by way of the court proceedings, the court has the right to admit same, and the court admitted those documents.
And also we can see from the initial video we played that there's a huge level of solidarity from rank and file of the National Democratic Congress, with notable persons presenting themselves in court today to show support to the embattled James Kwesi. We just saw there the 2020 vice presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, the prof, who's been with James Kwesi ever since this started. We saw the likes of Chikata, of course, who's defending the individual in court. Who else is showing up in court today?
I mean, Kojo Bonsu was also present a short while ago. We know he contested for the NDC's presidential primaries. Not successful, but he was also present to throw his weight. There were a number of members of parliament, former attorney generals, Marita Buapiopon, Betty Modi Drisu, legal practitioners, Ebiji Tamaklo, Tony Lita, a host of individuals in the legal fraternity and outside it in terms of affiliation with the NDC being present. I spoke to Kojo Bonsu, and he makes the point that he believes what is happening to Mr. Kwesi is simply unfair.
For solidarity, yes.
Excellence. I mean, what do you make of all that has been going on in terms of in relation to him?
I think this is totally unfair, and we're going through the rules of the law. We can't be coming here daily as the man is campaigning. Anyway, let's see what happens on Friday. And I think the judge did very well. Said we should just rest and come in on Friday. And I think we are watching. It's precedent that they are trying to set. And it's going to be a problem in this country. But I believe that justice must prevail.
Justice, he says, must prevail. That's an argument that, of course, has come up as well. The concerns about whether or not the court itself is being fair to James Kwesi. How did that play out in court today?
I mean, in terms of the proceedings itself, I mean, as far as the court was concerned, the court took the view that it was only fair to all sides that they are given ample time to raise their issues and advance them as cogently as they want to do so. And the court now took the view that it's coming back on Friday to deliver its ruling.
But then we know that you've been engaging James Kwesi. Of course, hearing from him sounds refreshing. At a point in time, of course, he had concerns about government's decision to prosecute this case in the first place. Now, everything seems to be unfolding in court. Is he keeping the same mood, the same posture? And what's his view on this current trial going on?
In fact, very brief comments. He barely wanted to engage, actually, but he made a point, possibly, that as far as he's concerned, he's focused on winning the seat and he's embarking on that aggressive campaign. And he thinks that in terms of his victory, it's a done deal.
We'll definitely get to find out a bit more of what James Kwesi has been talking about to my colleague, of course, Joseph Agable, who's getting us the very latest from court. And we understand that there's a lot also happening in the constituency as we speak. Blake, just hold on for us briefly, because there's a need for us to also hear from the governing New Patriotic Party, which says that it's setting the record straight on a number of issues happening there. We'll be speaking shortly to some of the leading figures within the area who have been gearing up for that press briefing. But we know that as the campaign towards the Assin North By-election hits up, traditional authorities also in the area are calling on two major political parties, the NDC and the NPP, to speak with their supporters and spare the people of the Assin area of any violence, confrontations, and also a possible case of bloodshed. Chief of the Assin Breku area, Nana Odro Asri, has been indicating to Joy News that the competitive nature of the elections has the tendency to breed violence and also acrimony, and as of course we've seen in some earlier by-elections. And of course he's been asking for greater opportunity for his people to decide.
Political parties have been frequenting the palaces of the various traditional leaders within the Assin North constituency, seeking their blessings and support. Transport Minister Kweku Ofori-Esiama led the MPP delegation, including actor Ejaku, to the palace of the chief of Assin Breku to seek the blessings of the chief. Nana Odro Asiri Basayadom tagged the two political parties to advise their supporters against violence.
Nana no ye ma ye kwan na ye nye politics. Ti mesre ho de momfa nche me say mintumi enye politics bia.
As you are all aware, chiefs are not supposed to be engaged in politics, and so forgive me that I am able to give you my support or otherwise. All I can do is to back you with my blessings and prayers. The elections can go either way, and if it will be peaceful, then it depends on you, the political parties. You need to speak with your supporters so there wouldn't be any violence. The name of this town has already been tainted, and we do not want it to be visited with any violence. We don't want to hear that because of the by-election someone has been shot or slagged with a machete or any other violent tendencies. So I will plead with you to speak with your supporters. I have already spoken with my people to comport themselves. I know that all of you are trying very hard in your campaigns, and I know that the electorate will determine the fate of your candidate. Transport Minister Kweku Ofori-Esiama outlined reasons why it would be unproductive for the MPP candidate to be voted against, and implored on the chiefs and residents to rally around Charles Opoku for unbridled development.
Because of you, Sakoya Kratofia, yes. Now, maybe I'm not in some baby, and this is for no Kawaha. A political party had a contest near Ko. Nana, almost here in Jim, so you, your questions are near Jacobian.
We came to plead with you because when a seat is vacant, we plead. And as we came here, we have heard a lot of things the NDC have been saying, that we are twisting the arms of Joe Jachikwesin in order to grab the seat from him. In the central region, the NDC has 13 seats and we have 10. Why didn't we twist their arms to claim many of the seats from them? This is because the law does not allow us to do that. There are laws in this country, and the court have duly given their judgment that something untoward happened as far as Joe Kwesin is concerned.
Because young MPP for the Mra and the Yajuma. Okay, Mra Nimuya. A cabosumi Dumotri. MPP Nawaso. This was small Biamanako.
We have 18 months ahead of us, and the MPP is the party in power. And so if you are sending someone to represent you in this constituency, it is only proper and fair to choose the MPP candidate. If you send an NDC person, how will such a person go to the president or follow me to lead him to the president? All we are saying is that for the next 18 months, it is the MPP that is in government. And if you are sending someone to seek development for you, then MPP is the obvious choice.
So that we obey to mini president, Omampani, Aquatrasi, no one not about too many ministers, not contrast, no margin. That be not do what you are kind to me.
When you vote for the MPP candidate, he can go to the president directly, or go with a minister, or join MPs to go to the president.
Ramification be wom. Ye dear, when you are Becca, you are born to her, and so you are back near Bessel. Ye dear, you are to trust some beer, Macromwa.
The campaigns are heightening by the minute as the by-election day inches closer. National, regional, and constituency executives, members of parliament, ministers of state, and former ministers of state are active participants in the jostle for the seat. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejonya Akon, Assin North.